5 myths of discipline. These are things that we have to make sure we do not fall into because they are myths. They're not true. Here are 5 myths. Mr. Antoy, I will not have problems with discipline if I do not smile until Christmas. That's a myth. And yet, I've actually heard a senior teacher advising a young teacher, telling him, don't smile. Otherwise, the students will take advantage of you, or they will try to push the envelope with you. And before you know it, you can control them. That's not true. That is a myth. In fact, later, I'm going to share with you how I open my school year, how I welcome my students with my biggest smile. So, do not smile until Christmas is a myth, and yet, it's true. It works. It works for a few days, maybe even at most 1 week. But after 1 week, the students will be afraid, or will be terrified of you, or will be resentful. This is the first myth. Here's the second myth. If only I am big and tough, then I will not have difficulties with discipline. Again, that is not true. It's a myth. I've had teachers who were big, who were tough, but they knew how to care. And that is the most important thing. No matter how small or frail you are, you can be in control of the students if you know how to manage them, not necessarily disciplining them, but managing them. Here's the third myth. Mr. Antoy, I will not have problems with discipline if only I have the latest gadgets, if only I have the top-of-the-line video projector in my classroom. Okay, if your school can afford to have all these latest gadgets, by all means, use them. They can be helpful, but they will not necessarily solve discipline problem. I have served as a consultant to a school with all the latest gadgets, giant screens in every classroom, but there is bullying, there is misbehavior, there is difficulty among many teachers to manage the students. That is a myth. Technology, gadgets, they are fantastic tools, but they are not what will assure that discipline is going to be maintained inside the classroom. Here's the fourth. Mr. Antoy, I will not have problems with discipline if only my students come from middle-class families, because the problems are there among the very poor students or the very rich students. That's a myth. It's not true. Regardless of economic background, if we know how to manage the students, there will be no problem with discipline. Finally, number 5, and I know many young teachers fall into this trap. Mr. Antoy, I will not have problems with discipline because I will be friends with my students. And they think that by being cool and chill, speaking the language of the kids, of the students, they are going to be popular and they will not have problems with discipline. That's a myth. In fact, we need to tell young teachers, you are not meant to be friends with your students. You are meant to be a role model, someone they can look up to. They don't need more friends. They need role models. And so, it's a myth. In fact, I have seen tragic ends to teachers trying too hard to be friends with their students, trying to be familiar with their students. They go out with them, they drink with them, they grab a beer with them, and before you know it, the students are confused. When the teacher starts disciplining them inside the classroom, the students start getting confused. Wait, I thought we are friends. This is not correct. So, be friendly, be very, very friendly with the students, but they are not just meant to be your friends. You are meant to be a role model, someone they can look up to, and someone they will say, when I grow up, I want to be like that, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so.